Tonight, Zhangcha Ya, a dish older than the republic it is cooked in. From Chengdu, the slow city at the western edge of the Sichuan Basin, where the cooks of the old banquet kitchens learned to build flavor out of smoke instead of fire. Duck, cured and steamed and smoked over camphor and tea, until the skin turns the color of dark honey. Most places will sell you a smoked duck. Very few will give you this one. Zhangcha Ya is 4 dishes wearing a single name. It is cured, and then it is steamed, and then it is smoked, and only then is it fried. Each stage undoes something the stage before it did. None of them can be skipped. A kitchen in a hurry leaves out the steaming, or leaves out the drying, and what arrives is a duck with smoke painted on the outside. This is not that. Here the smoke goes all the way through. This makes 4 servings, 1 hour of preparation, 1 hour and 50 minutes of cooking, 2 hours and 50 minutes in all. You will need 1 whole duck, 3½ tablespoons of salt, 2 tablespoons of Sichuan peppercorns, 2 ounces of ginger, 4 whole star anise, 4 whole scallions, 1/4 cup of dry sherry, 1 piece of cassia bark, 1/2 cup of camphor leaves, 1/2 cup of jasmine tea leaves, 1/2 cup of raw rice, 1/2 cup of brown sugar, and 4 cups of peanut oil. Begin with the duck dry and your hands dry. Rub 1/4 cup of dry sherry over the whole bird, into the skin, into the cavity, everywhere the wine will reach. Then take 3½ tablespoons of salt and work it in the same way, over the breast, along the back, into the hollow of the cavity where it will do the slowest work. The salt is not seasoning yet. It is drawing water up toward the surface. And water is the only thing standing between this skin and the crisp it is going to become. Now the cavity is filled. 2 tablespoons of Sichuan peppercorns scattered inside. Huajiao, the small rust-colored husks that hum rather than burn. 2 ounces of ginger sliced thick. 4 whole scallions folded in whole. Nothing is chopped fine here. None of it is meant to dissolve into the meat, only to sit inside the bird and breathe. Then the duck rests 30 minutes, long enough for the salt to begin, and short enough that the duck is still itself. Into the steamer, and the first real change. 4 whole star anise go to the bottom of the pot. 1 piece of cassia bark beside them. The water underneath will carry their scent upward for the entire hour that follows. Steam the duck over high heat for 60 minutes. This is the step a hurried kitchen leaves out, and it is the one that matters most. Steam does something fire cannot. It loosens the fat from beneath the skin and softens the meat all the way down to the bone without ever letting the surface brown. The duck comes out pale. It is supposed to. Lift the duck out, and then do nothing. 20 minutes. Let it stand where the air can reach every side of it. The skin has to dry completely. You can watch it change if you are patient. The wet gloss going matte, the surface tightening, drawing in against the frame underneath. There is nothing to do now but wait. This is the quietest part of the whole evening, and it is not optional. A damp skin will never crisp. Now the fire that is not a fire. Line a large pot with heavy foil. Into the bottom go half a cup of jasmine tea leaves, half a cup of camphor leaves, half a cup of raw rice, and half a cup of brown sugar. No liquid, no marinade. A dry bed of leaves and grain and sugar, about to smolder. Set the duck on a rack above it. Cover the pot tightly, sealing the edge if you can, so that nothing escapes. Then medium heat, and 15 minutes. Underneath, the sugar melts, and the rice scorches, and the leaves catch, and the whole sealed pot fills with a smoke that smells like a wooden chest being opened after a long winter. That smoke is the seasoning. By now, it is the only seasoning left. Last of all, the oil. 4 cups of peanut oil in a wide wok, brought to 375 degrees Fahrenheit. Hot enough that the surface goes still and glassy just before it moves. Lower the duck in carefully. It will object. It always does. 15 minutes, turning as it goes, until the skin pulls tight and darkens to a deep mahogany brown and begins to blister and shatter under the smallest pressure. It has been cured and steamed and smoked. This is the only moment it ever meets direct heat. The camphor tree grows all across the Sichuan Basin, broad and evergreen, in temple courtyards and along old roads, some of them standing for centuries. Its wood has always been valuable for one particular reason. Camphor repels insects. So for generations, the wood was cut into chests and cabinets, and that is where you stored silk and winter clothes and anything that had to survive a damp season untouched. The scent meant safekeeping. It meant a thing had been put away carefully and would come back whole. This dish takes that scent out of the storage chest and puts it into dinner. And then there is the tea. Chengdu is a tea house city and has been one for a very long time. Bamboo chairs set out under the trees, a pot refilled all afternoon. Whole days spent over leaves and water. Jasmine tea belongs to that register especially. The everyday cup, the sociable one, which makes what happens here quietly strange. The leaves are not brewed, they are burned. Half a cup of them thrown down onto foil to smolder beneath a bird. The most ordinary comfort in the city, spent as fuel to make something nobody drinks. Now, Zhangcha Ya belongs to the formal end of Chuansai. Sichuan cooking at its most composed. It came out of the late imperial banquet kitchens of Chengdu, the private tables where officials were fed and where a cook's reputation was built across an entire meal rather than a single plate. That kind of cooking had time. It had staff. It could afford a dish that occupies 4 separate stations for most of an afternoon, which is why the home version was always rare and why the dish still carries a certain formality with it, even when it is made, as tonight, by one person in a quiet kitchen. Most famous dishes survive because they are easy to love. This one survives because it refuses to be simplified. You cannot cure a duck faster. You cannot steam it hotter. The drying takes exactly what it takes. The smoke needs a sealed pot and a low, patient heat. And the fry only works if every step before it was done properly. Take away any one stage, and the dish does not become quicker. It becomes a different, lesser thing, and everyone at the table can taste it. The households and the banquet kitchens that kept making it were agreeing, in a sense, to be slowed down. That agreement is the recipe. Carve it at the table if you can. The skin gives first, that thin, brittle mahogany layer breaking under the blade, and then the meat underneath, which, after all that steaming, comes away almost without resistance. The smell arrives before the taste does. Camphor and jasmine, and the faint numbing perfume of Zhangcha Ya still sitting where the cavity was. Zhangcha Ya is a dish about transformation by patience rather than by heat. Nothing here was seared, nothing was rushed. A bird was salted and softened and held in smoke, and only at the very end allowed to meet fire. It came out the color of old wood, tasting faintly of a tree that grows outside the door. And the table, at last, is set.